breaking news.
Note, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made fair use for the purposes such as news reporting, criticism, educational, informative, and more. No copyright infringement intended. This video falls under fair use guidelines. Any attempt to claim and falsely the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, better known as DMCA, is illegal and will be countered. Hello, this is Holocaust Perspectives Worldly Financial News Report for the week of May 10th, 2026, and I'm your host every day. And as always, we start off the call with some informative videos to share while others join the live call.
That decision held that African Americans, whether slave or free, could not be citizens of the United States. Is that correct? That is correct. By denying citizenship, the court also denied African Americans equal political rights, equal access to the courts, and equal protection of the laws.
Correct. They were denied all privileges and immunities that the Constitution affords to citizens.
Would you agree that the Dred Scott decision pushed the nation even closer to civil war?
It did, by invalidating the Missouri Compromise, among other reasons.
Many historians posit the decision in Dred Scott helped cause the Civil War. And when that bloody war, the bloodiest war in America's history, ended in 1865, the legal status of the newly freed slaves was far from settled. Mr. Werman, after the Civil War, was it clear as a matter of law that the freed slaves would necessarily enjoy the full rights of citizens?
Hey, y'all. So they finally said it out loud on camera with their whole chest. Alabama's House Speaker Nathaniel Ledbetter stood in front of the press after his state passed a redistricting bill and said, and I quote, "I certainly hope the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14, end quote. I need you to understand what he means. You see, the 14th Amendment is not a technicality. It's not a redistricting footnote. It's the amendment that made Black people citizens of this country after 250 years of enslavement, ratified in 1868, written in blood. It says you are a citizen. It says you have equal protections under the law. It says no state can strip your rights without due process. It is the legal spine of every civil rights victory we have ever won. And Ledbetter hopes the Supreme Court throws it in the trash. That's not a redistricting argument, ladies and gentlemen. That's a declaration. See, they're not hiding under their white hoods and robes anymore. They are not dog whistling. They are standing at a podium saying, we want the amendment that made you citizens gone. This is happening right now in real time, 2026. And the only thing they're afraid of, the only reason they want to erase that amendment is because they know what we do when we show up. So show up. And remind every Black and brown person that voted for this. Jim Crow had a hood. This version has a law degree and a press conference.
The FBI is lying about the Southern Poverty Law Center. They know that they're not funding white supremacist protests. For the last 50 years, the SPLC has been working with the FBI, providing them information on white supremacist groups. This is what they've been doing. They were founded to do this. They were founded in 1971. Their job was to help poor people get justice in the South. That's why it's called the Southern Poverty Law Center. First year, they desegregated the YMCA in their hometown. Second year, they got the Alabama state troopers to start accepting Black people. Third year, they got equal housing and medical for women in the military. These guys were killing it. Now, by the time the 80s come around, they're fighting violent white supremacist groups. In 1980, they sued the Invisible Empire for shooting Black men. They won. In 81, they sued the Texas Emergency Reserve for shooting Vietnamese people. They won again. Now, they realized that the FBI wasn't going to help them investigate these white supremacist groups. The country was still pretty racist at the time, so they had to investigate it themselves. So they started paying for confidential informants. And this worked. They paid informants, they gathered evidence, they shared the evidence with the FBI, and they sued people. It was a good system and it was working. In 87, they sued the United Klans of America for $7 million. bankrupted them. In 1990, they sued the White Aryan Resistance for $12.5 million. They won, bankrupted them. In 98, they sued the Klan for burning down a Baptist church. They got $37 million. In 2000, they got $6.3 million from the Aryan Nation, bankrupted them. You gotta remember, in the South at this time, white supremacist groups aren't getting investigated like that. A lot of these white supremacist groups have ties to law enforcement. They have ties to the government. It's very hard to convict these people. The only way crimes like these were getting investigated was by private law groups like the SPLC. So now it's 1995. The Oklahoma City bombing goes off. The FBI hasn't been investigating any white supremacist groups. They have no idea where to start the investigation. They go to the SPLC. They use all of the SPLC's evidence on white supremacist groups, and they track down the people who did it. The FBI is loving it. They don't have to do the investigations, but they get to reap the benefits. They get all the credit. It's all gravy. SPLC and FBI like this. Here's where things get weird. Last year, Charlie Kirk dies. Last year, Charlie Kirk dies. People on the right are saying there's violence coming from the left. The left says the violence is coming from the right. They start to cite SPLC's reports. SPLC has a map called a hate map. It showed where all the violent white supremacists were actually coming from. White supremacists hated this. The next month, Kash Patel at the FBI comes out and says, we're severing all ties with the SPLC. This is a woke, biased group, and they're spreading hate, and we can't be associated with any organizations that have an agenda, is what he says. Now, this month, Kash Patel comes out and says he's having an investigation into the SPLC. He says they committed wire fraud. He says they didn't tell their investors that they were using the money for informants, and they had shell companies that were hiding the source of the money so that the informants wouldn't get caught. He's saying that all of this constitutes wire fraud. They're saying that the money that they paid to the informants actually funded the protest, and the violence that came from the protest is a product of the SPLC. They're saying that the informants are being paid to be in the chat groups and spew hate and incite violence. Never mind that they're snitches and they're supposed to do this to stay in the group. But okay, let's look at the Unite the Right protest. They're saying that the SPLC gave $270,000 to that protest. When you look into it, that $270,000 went to one informant over the span of 8 years. He was in the chat group that was planning the Unite the Right protest. He gave all of the information to the SPLC. The SPLC gave all of the information to the FBI and the local authorities. A 45-page warning. They're playing dumb. They know what the hell's going on. Another informant, a neo-Nazi, got $1 million. He's the highest paid informant thus far. He got 25 boxes of documents and stole it and gave it to the SPLC. That's how he got that money. Remember, there's only $3 million total, but these are the payments that they're saying went directly to paid protests. This is the proof that they have that the left is actually funding right-wing violence. The right wing isn't violent. It's actually the left funding them. This is what they want you to believe. And it's working too.
The whole election that happened on November the 15th, it abolished the office, in essence meaning that that election did not take place out.
A cruel aspect to this, that this man ran for office, he campaigned, he spent his money, he got thousands of votes, and now just days before he's supposed to take office, you're going to change the law and prevent him from taking office? In what world is that right? We all know this is wrong. This is just wrong, and it needs to be stopped.
It's targeted, you know. How many governors, how many attorney general come into a parish race and get involved? That's unheard of. Hey, thank you. I just convinced people that they vote counted, and now what's happening here and with this bill is that they vote don't count.
Anybody who has to cheat to win is a sucker. And you continue to do this because you don't have a better vision. You don't have a better plan. You are your ancestors' children and grandchildren. Thieves, robbers, liars.
Listen,
Isaiah 1 and 17.
are you directing this to us?
I am.
Welcome back to class. Today, I want to discuss pattern recognition. Whenever there is a rise in consciousness of Indigenous Black Americans, a manufactured civil rights issue is raised. There is an attempt to distract and decenter the objective of Black Americans. They have this evil-intended approach to making Black Americans fight for something that truly isn't that important, so that Black Americans aren't spending their time fighting for their land, because that's ultimately the fight that this country could not fight against and win. They can't beat Iran, or any opponent, honestly. If Black Americans unanimously decided to fight for their land, this entire thing would be over. But they don't want them to know that. They'd rather make them fight for the rights surrounding voting, which is a bona fide system towards manipulating our consent, which clearly worked on our parents who taught some of us little to nothing about the voting process. Simply pass down the party and belief system they vote for. And if voting truly worked, they wouldn't have allowed our dumbass parents to step anywhere near it, because there never would have been such thing as this idiot. Which was all part of the plan. He was installed by the lobbyist groups who are controlling this manufactured chaos. These people are not intelligent. They're just bored and jealous enough that they want to make the people they're envious of miserable. They already have the money, so that's not what they're after. While they shift the focus of the indigenous population, they simultaneously convince whites that they aren't poor. They have made you idiots forget that you are the descendants of colonizers, the actual descendants of slaves who arrived on boats. They work overtime into convincing you that you aren't poor while you're literally stuffing down ramen, great value crackers, and a can of sardines for dinner. This entire system is eating us all alive. And the only reason the wheels are still turning is because of jealous-ass people. And the remedial ones who keep their head in the sand. Everyone is being oppressed by the same few idiots at the top. But only one group is left to fight them, while the rest of you pretend that nothing is happening to you at the exact same time. One group who raised hell during the gas prices of the Biden era is happy now because Black Americans will have to pay more at the pump. It's time to change, white America, because the clock is definitely ticking. And no, I will not be thanking you for watching. It's time to fix this.
To make in order to do what you feel you need to do for the governor and your politics. But your state ranks number 50 in the nation. Because you continue to do these things. We rank number 50 in the economy, number 50 in crime. You can shake your head, Representative. Number 46 in education, number 44 in healthcare, number 48 in infrastructure, number 49 in natural environment. But you got time to take away clerks of court seats. Your priorities are jacked up, and your state continues to lose as a result. But you're proud. You're proud Republicans, proud conservatives. You're Reconstructionist. You're Reconstructionist, and it's racist. And every one of your votes reflect your moral character and the lack thereof. Now I go to church just like you all. I don't know if we read the same Bible. Do good, seek justice, help the widow, the orphan, the oppressed, and the poor. Isaiah 1 and 17. Now, you can strip up the Constitution of this state. You can restructure New Orleans all you want, but you're losing even your own voters. Because last year, you lost every constitutional amendment you set out the Capitol. Every one of them. In your own districts. And you came back down here again playing Jeff's game. Now he wants to be president, and some of y'all won't even be representatives following along with the governor. If you believe in local representation, like I know most of you truly do, you wouldn't be meddling in this local community. But it's a majority black community. And you don't do this anywhere else in the state, which shows it's racist. I don't need data to show me the history of Louisiana. Every legislature that has ever existed in this state has been under majority white control, and you still haven't found a way to get yourselves out of the bottom 10 ranking. Georgia beats you every year. Why? Because they don't have a problem with black people prospering. The government is a job farm. You all are opening up prisons in rural parishes to create jobs for your constituents and trying to take away Calvin Duncan's job in New Orleans, where he creates jobs for black constituents. The prosperity of this state continues to decline because you lack the vision to lead us forward. This is a waste of the voters' time, and I know you're going to vote the way you want to vote anyway. But I wanted to look you in your faces and tell you this is weak, self-serving, and cowardice, and you're reconstructionists, and history will remember you.
Listen up! Listen up! Listen! We love that everybody's here. Hey! Be quiet! Hey, listen up! Listen up! One mind! Listen, we love everybody being here. I helped bring people here this week. We need you here, but we got to get Chris England on the record. That is important. We got to have Chris England on the record. Okay? We got to have Chris on the record. Y'all can go up, you go up and down there, because I don't have as much as Chris. But we got to get Representative England on the record. He's at the mic now, okay? We need your help doing that. We need to get Chris on the record. Thank you.
If you like this video, do me a favor, like and share with others, because we got to get the word out. We're here to build a community so that we have a chance to play and win in this game, because it's all a game. This is All Across Perspectives Worldly Financial News Report for the week of May 10th, 2026. I'm your host every day. Strive to be your best in each and every situation. Leave the result as is, because it's the result, and find a way to raise your vibration so high that the matrix glitches, lights flicker, and stagnant, dormant, and negative energies all transmute just because you stepped into the room. With that, you have a great night, and I'll see each and every one of you at the top.
Thank you, Will. Good job, Will.
Thank you, sir.
And thanks for all the